Hello everyone, my name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium. If you're new here, I do VGM reactions and guitar covers of VGM. Today I have a Patreon request from Dennis. Kingdom Hearts 3. I know he is a very loyal Kingdom Hearts fan. So Kingdom Hearts fans, rejoice. Dennis is our savior. This is Enter the Darkness from KH3. I recall this being a pretty big request from the community, if I recall correctly. But without further ado, this is Enter the Darkness. I have no idea what to expect. I've heard a lot of KH, well, some. And each time it's just a roller coaster. Enter the Darkness. Let me set up for this. This is kind of beautifully brutal. Orchestral AF. I feel like they're using a certain guitar tuning for this that I'll explain later. Pretty sure they're using that tuning. I have a lot of notes written for this song. Every time I get like into it, they start fading away. Okay, I have a lot of notes. I'm not gonna even go in order. It's just the first thing I see. Okay, so kind of, I didn't feel this until pretty much the last like 30 seconds. So I didn't, the whole time I didn't think it, and then all of a sudden I was like, huh, it kind of sounds like One Winged Angel, a little bit, FF7, sort of, right? Kind of the marching sort of like choir type sound, gang vocal, and the kind of like snare marching beat, and then the guitar, of course the guitar. So this is the second Kingdom Hearts song I've heard with electric guitar. So I'm guessing, is Kingdom Hearts 3 just like that? Is this still Yoko? It reminded me of Vector, which I just heard from the same requester. So KH3 seems to have a little bit more aggression and punch. I don't know if that has to do with the story, or maybe just these couple of songs. Who knows? I can only go off of so much context. But another thing I wrote is that it had kind of like a dual personality. It sounded like two songs, right? It sounded like this, classical kind of inspired thing, and then we had like this pretty almost grungy, sludgy metal guitar riff. They like separately, they were pretty much two identities, but they worked together, and they weren't always together the whole time. They had their moments, so that was kind of cool. This song, this is going to be a little bit for the guitar players and the guitar nerds, so I don't want to elaborate too much, but there was the main riff, da 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 da. To me, that sounds like drop D. Now, just to put it very lightly, a guitar is tuned E, A, D, G, B, E. But what a lot of bands did in like the late grunge era, new metal, bands like Korn, stuff like that, and bands still do it now. They pretty much detune their lowest, thickest string to a D. So basically all that does is you turn power chords into one finger chords. So the idea is that a lot of those bands and riffs have this kind of big chunky chord sound, but they're moving it like a riff. So instead of da 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 da, it's like it's heavier, it's big, it's So that's what it sounded like to me. It sounded like that was in drop D. I could be completely wrong, but as a guitar player for many years, that's kind of what it sounded like to me, which is quite interesting. And then finally, what it reminded me of. Two things. A little bit of Castlevania vibes. Even though I don't know much Castlevania, I've only heard like 4 songs from the series. 4 or 5. It still has that aura, sort of vampires and all that stuff. So it sounds, gothic is the word I'm thinking of. But it also reminded me, the reason I say that is because the same composer for Castlevania did a lot of songs for Skullgirls. And this one is no different. This is Dirge of the Divine Trinity. So I recommend, if you like something like this, check out Dirge of the Divine Trinity from Skullgirls. I told you I had a lot of notes. There was a lot going on. That was really, I mean, of course it was rad. I liked it. I loved it. It just reminded me of so many things. So that's always good, because I had memories over here, I had memories over there. It just took my brain in all these different directions. And I don't know if my face reflected it, but I was like, oh, well, yeah, oh, okay, yeah. Like I was like writing an essay down here. So once again, Kingdom Hearts has failed to disappoint. It's so unique, and it seems like they're just not afraid to take risks. Clearly, the game is about, like, Disney and Square, so that's already a huge thing in its own. So clearly they're about the art and the passion project. And I'm pretty sure Kingdom Hearts can pretty much be labeled as like the passion project. That's exactly what it is. So big respect to the community. I hear your voices. You have Dennis to thank for all these requests. That was great. Enter the Darkness. I just remembered what the title was. Yeah, that works. That's fitting. I'm a big sucker for VGM titles. If you notice, they're like either really corny or really just badass, or both. And, Enter the Darkness fits. So, great times. Loved it. If you would like to get your request in, you can do so on Patreon with all these wonderful people, or PayPal if you don't want to subscribe. Although on Patreon you do get, perks, early access. You can see the song list of everything I'm doing, all that good stuff. You can get exclusive Discord roles. And speaking of Discord, you should join us. We just got 500, which is absolutely nuts. There's 500 people in there just talking about VGM. So if you ever felt alone that other people don't listen to VGM, then you're absolutely wrong. So, and you can say hi to me if that matters for anything. Thank you, Dennis, for yet another banger. I feel like you did that one for me, not for you. I think that was a gift for me. Like, let me give him all these emotional, sad piano songs, but then let me just throw some some new metal with some orchestral hits for him. Either way, I appreciate it. With that said, dudes and dudettes, I will see you later. Have a nice night. Take it easy.